Hey again, welcome back to Daily Dose of Anime Recaps. In this video, we'll be covering episodes 11 and 12 of the series The Testament of Sister New Devil. In the previous episode, we saw Basara bravely confront the sinister Zolga. Unfortunately, Basara soon ended up mentally confined, thanks to his opponent's mind manipulation skills. In today's recap, we intend to continue the story from there, but before that happens, don't forget to annihilate that like and subscribe button. In the initial scene, Basara breaks free from Zolga's mental bondage, all thanks to his strong willpower, of course. The two then exchange a dozen blows, with Zolga easily retaining the upper hand throughout. Later on, Basara was bewitched by yet another mental spell from Zolga and starts hallucinating. Within the erotic illusions, the lucky dude is enjoying the time of his life by having intercourse with Mio, Yuki, and the rest. Back in reality, Maria arrives just when Zolga is about to land the finishing blow and steal away Basara's abilities. The succubus girl is still in her trump card state and therefore can't wait to knock Zolga's lights out. Alas, Maria soon stops dead in her tracks once her opponent pulls out live visuals of her captive mother named Shella. Furthermore, Maria isn't even given a chance to come up with a counter strategy or anything. Instead, the wicked Zolga simply pulls the lever without any further ado, resulting in being crushed into chunks of meat as well as bone powder. Maria obviously feels devastated after having witnessed her mom's tragic death. However, Mio too loses her calm and enters berserk mode after witnessing Shella's life ending in a puddle of blood. Turns out, the ghastly death of her succubus friend's mother had ended up reminding Mio of her own adoptive parents' annihilation at the hands of Zolga. Interestingly, Zolga isn't bothered by Mio losing control and unleashing Wilbert's inherited powers. As it happens, the cunning and insidious dude had in fact been planning for this very outcome. Being the one who killed her parents before, Zolga was certain how touching upon her past trauma was a surefire way to make Mio go nuts and then forcefully draw out Wilbert's powers. Now, Zolga proceeds with his plan by temporarily stealing away Wilbert's immense power at the cost of expending most of his magic power. Far as Zolga is concerned, the loss of energy is worth it since he will soon be able to suck away Mio's inherited powers, enabling him to return to his peak form and even go beyond that. Things go south after the unusually quiet Mio easily repels Zolga by destroying his arm, with the attitude of having merely swatting away an irritating fly. The flabbergasted dude is confused at first, since according to reason, Mio shouldn't be able to access Wilbert's powers at least for a while. Soon a frightening realization draws upon him, leaving Zolga shell-shocked as well as scared witless. Guess what? Mio isn't worthless at all, despite being forbidden to utilize her inherited powers. In fact, the girl has exceptional natural talent of her own. That said, the traumatic incident somehow managed to help awaken her own dormant power, making her strong enough to end Zolga's wretched existence at will. Basara intercepts Mio from exacting her revenge though. Such an unexpected turn of events obviously confuses Mio, since the heinous Zolga is their common enemy. What's more, Mio had been yearning for this moment since forever. Hence, why the hell would her stepbrother forbid her from reaping the enemy's life now that she's capable of doing so? To counter her complaints, Basara simply states how the instant gratification from avenging her parents won't last for long. Meanwhile, the violence involved will soon leave Mio feeling empty and hollow inside. Whether convinced or not, Mio still pays heed to her big bro's advice, allowing the despicable Zolga to escape unscathed. What's funny is how Yahiro intercepts the runaway Zolga pretty soon once outside. Guess what? Both Basara and Yahiro can't turn faces with each other after all, and have instead been conspiring together in secret all this while. Before, Zest had merely butchered one of Yahiro's puppets, not the actual body. What's more, the clever dude had also rescued Maria's mom, Shella, in time as well. That said, the one who ended up crushed to smithereens was merely another dummy as well. The revolutions leave Zolga dumbfounded. Soon he proceeds to ask about why an esteemed demon such as Yahiro is even willing to help Basara and the rest in the first place. Here we finally learn Yahiro's true origins. Turns out, he had been one of the orphans from the Great War decades ago. Meanwhile, the pair Wilbert designated to look after his daughter Mio had been truly kind after all. Instead of merely bringing up Mio, they had also adopted multiple other war orphans, including Yahiro Yahiro and bestowed those fellas with the basic necessities for living. That said, Yahiro is entitled to seek Zolga's head as revenge, as well as a means to soothe his foster parents' souls. With no way out, Zolga finally plays his trump card. Turns out, his secret base had in fact been constructed inside the belly of a fearsome demonic beast. Unfortunately, Zolga had cast an illusion spell at the place previously, so none among Basara's group realized the truth. Now, killing Zolga is equal to exterminating this connection with the hibernating beast, forcing it to awaken and wreak havoc on Earth. On the flip side, Basara isn't willing to resign to his fate of being disgusted and later turning into demonic beast excrement that easily. Instead, the courageous dude plans to venture deep inside the monster's belly, locate its vital core, and use Banishing Shift's complete version to eradicate it for good. Meanwhile, having been abandoned by her wretched master, Zest now switches sides by offering to act as Basara's tour guide all the way down to the core. Once there though, Basara hasn't got enough time to charge up his energy since there's a heckload of parasitic creatures swarming from all over the place. Not just that, but a dozen of Zest's look-alike clones come looking for trouble as well. Here, it's revealed how Zest wasn't born, but rather created by Zolga as a permanent slave of his. However, Zest bearing emotions in her heart instead of acting like a cold-blooded slave was something that annoyed Zolga to no end. To that end, he had been a lousy creating father, creating further, far more ruthless clones of her to obey his command down to the letter T. Although Zest, along with various slimy-looking creatures, truly make it difficult for Basara to concentrate on eradicating the core. Thankfully, both Mio and Yuki have got his back, so all he has to do is to focus on delivering the final blow. Alas, the core's defense is proven as too tight, and without any loopholes to take advantage of. Zest here surprisingly offers to attract the core's many attacks towards herself, and in doing so, is even willing to sacrifice her life. Thankfully though, the Quicksilver Basara pushes her out of harm's way before utilizing his Banishing Shift's complete erasure form to forever destroy the gigantic creature's vital core. Goes without saying, our protagonist here is indeed the man of the hour for offering such brilliant displays and acts of bravado time and time again. Anyways, the creature's downfall spells the arrival of doom for Zolga, who has now been deprived of his previous aura of majesty, turning him into a scaredy cat instead. In the battle's aftermath, Basara slips away silently in order to reach Yahiro's hideout and bear witness to Zolga's execution in person. Back home, Basara grants Zest her freedom, nudging her to return back to the demon realm in a while and explore life for a new sense of belonging and purpose. Later on, Basara is reminded of how the wretched Zolga almost succeeded in stealing away Mio's innocence. The memory forces his possessive side to switch on, resulting in Basara lunging towards Mio in the same way a cat does at milk after having been deprived of it for 3 days straight. Thankfully, Yuki interrupts them both in time, thus preventing the room from boiling any further, with its temperature exceeding even that of the sun. Things go south after Yuki herself starts protesting for Basara's attention though, resulting in both her and Mio bickering with each other non-stop. Meanwhile, standing outside the room is Maria, who still feels guilty and ill at ease for having betrayed her friends earlier. The little succubus is about to pack her things and leave forever when she's intercepted by Basara, who instantly starts begging for her help. Thing is, same as before, both Mio and Yuki are still bitching at each other's faces about who deserves Basara's attention more. Maria gets teary-eyed when asked for her attention, since everybody is obviously treating her with let bygones be bygones attitude instead of cursing her for being a traitor or something. Becoming cheerful again, Maria starts kissing Basara out of the blue. Upon looking at the other girls' shell-shocked faces, the cheeky succubus claims how she's on her own side and won't let others monopolize her brother that easily. Meanwhile, far away in the demon realm, we finally come face to face with Leohart, the current demon lord. The guy feels suspicious at having lost any signals from Zolga all of a sudden and calls for an investigation. Soon, his attention is caught by a daring human who's currently sitting on his throne. Said person is none other than Basara's Basara's father, Jin Tojo, the one renowned as a war god, even among the demons. Apparently, Jin isn't too satisfied at having his kids bothered by Leoheart's men every now and then, and therefore has come in person to settle matters once and for all. This wraps up the episode's end, and we're left pondering several mysteries such as, what will be the outcome of this epic clash between the awfully young current demon lord Leoheart and the previous generation's god of war Jin Tojo? Well, that's all for now. We'll surely discover the answers within the next couple of episodes of the Testament of Sister New Devil. And in case you're a subscriber with notifications enabled, you'll know as well soon enough.